What's good, guys? What's good? Now, the main essence of this video is to take you through an overview of how we can build up a Spring Boot application, both backend, front end, and package it up, and deploy it to the cloud. Okay, and also the basic programming language that you need to learn. So I'm gonna be taking you through that overview so that if you're getting into the field of Spring Boot, at least you can have an idea of what you need to do. Okay, so just enjoy the video, and if you like the video, drop a comment, subscribe to this channel. I'm on a road to 1,000 subscribers. Peace. So the first thing we're gonna start with is Java basics. So one thing you need to do is to learn the fundamental of Java programming language. And when you're dealing with fundamentals, there are certain things that you need to understand, and those are things like variables. Learn how variables work, data types, control structure, the use of if, else, and loops. Then we also have methods. Learn how methods in Java works. Then classes, okay, and also learn how to work with objects. Also learn object-oriented programming, which we call OOPS, and the concept like inheritance, polymorphisms, and encapsulation. Just learn how you work with those concepts. Then after that, understand the Java collection framework like array list and hash maps. Also get familiar with Java inputs, operation, and file handling. Okay, so this is just Java basics that you need to understand, especially when you're working with Spring Boot. Okay, then after that, let's move on to tools and installation. What do you need to install in your system for you to work with Spring Boot? First thing you need to install is Java Development Kit, which we call the JDK, which provide the necessary tools for Java development. Okay, we have different versions of JDK. Right now, I think we have Java Development Kit version 20. That is a long term. Okay, but I think the long term one that is used right now is Java 17. So just go and do a bit of research in Java JDK that you feel comfortable actually using, and one that has a long-term support. Then after that, set up an integrated development environment, which we call the IDE. Use IDE like IntelliJ IDEA, Eclipse. It's not that commonly used actually. It's IntelliJ IDEA actually is more used right now than Eclipse. Also, you can work with Spring Boot Toolsuite. I've never tried it to write and manage your code, but most developers use IntelliJ IDEA. Okay, then the next thing you need to do is to install a build automation tool like Apache Maven or Gradle to manage project dependency and build processes. I have a course actually that I have done that shows how to build an application using Maven. So you just go and learn a lot. You can learn actually, and also you can also do your own research. Okay, then after installing JDK, IDE, and Maven, the next step is to learn Spring Boot. Okay, so learn about the Spring framework, which is the foundation of Spring Boot. And in here, you need to understand the core concept of Spring Boot, such as auto configuration, embedded server like Tomcat, and the Spring Boot starter project. Okay, now study the different layers of Spring Boot application, because we always have 3 layers as far as Spring Boot application is concerned. So we have the web layer that handles HTTP request and response. So learn how to work with a web layer, which deals with the request controller. Okay, then service layer, which contain business logic and interact with a repository layer. Then LAN repository layer that handles data access and persistence. This layer interacts with databases. Also, I have a course actually that will teach you how to create the 3 layers. Okay, so you can go ahead and watch the video. Actually, you can also go ahead and do lots of research when it comes to Spring Boot and the 3 layers that are needed. Okay, then the next thing you need to do once you learn how to work with that, then go ahead and learn front end with React actually. So I use React most of the time when I'm building up my application. This is for front end. And in front end, learn the basics of HTML, which is hypertext markup language, CSS, which is cascading style sheet, and also now the JavaScript. Okay, there are a lot of courses outside there that can teach you HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Study React.js, which is the popular JavaScript library for building user interface. Okay, React.js. Okay, just study that and do a lot of research when it comes to that. Understand React component, state management, and React hooks. Okay, so these are things that you need to understand when you're working with React. Remember, this is just an overview, so you have to deep dig into each and everything that I'm showing you right now, so you can actually learn more. You can have to dive deep into each and everything that I'm showing you. Then the next thing, learn to integrate a React front end with a Spring Boot back end, okay, using REST APIs. I have a course actually that shows how to connect back end and front end together. Okay, so you can actually peruse through my YouTube channel and you will come across that. If you want also a one-on-one with me, I can actually also go ahead and show you how to do that. Then the next thing is building and packaging. Once you build up your front end and your back end, you need to package it into a jar file. Okay, understand how to build and package your Spring Boot application into a jar file. I have a course actually also showing you how to package your front end and back end into a jar file. Okay, then after that, learn about executable jar and how to run them. Okay, then the next thing actually you need to learn is DevOps. Okay, now this is now where you take your application, create an image using Docker and actually push it into AWS, okay, or any cloud application that is out there. Okay, so get familiar with version control systems like Git and GitHub to manage your code base. So learn how actually to work with Git and GitHub. I still have a course on Git and GitHub and how you can push your code actually to GitHub. Okay, learn how to work with GitHub. Okay, then after that, learn about containerization with Docker and how to create Docker image with Spring Boot application. Very important. Learn how to work with containerization with Docker and how to create a Docker image for your Spring Boot application. Still, I have a course on how to create an image using Docker. Okay, one of those courses are down there. You can go ahead and learn how to create an image. Okay, then after that, study container orchestration tool like Kubernetes and deploy and manage containerized application. Okay, so I'm working on a course for Kubernetes actually right now. I just did a short introduction. You can watch my video and see a short introduction that talks about Kubernetes. So you will have to learn a container orchestration tool like Kubernetes. Is very, very important actually for you to understand how Kubernetes and Docker work together. Then understand continuous integration and continuous deployment, which we call the CI/CD. I'm yet to do a course on this, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that, including tools like Jenkins, Travis CI, or GitHub Action. But for me, I'm gonna use the course I'm gonna create will focus on CI/CD with GitHub Action. Okay, so just wait for that. Then the next thing is learn about cloud platform such as AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and these cloud platforms is where you're gonna deploy your application. Okay, so learn how to deploy your microservice on these platforms is very very important. Okay, it's advisable actually for you to join communities. We have lots of communities of Spring Boot online. You can join forums or take courses from experienced developers that will help you actually answer all the questions that you're looking for. Okay, enjoy the process and never give up.